It's been said that there are two types of people on planet Earth, those who love to travel and those who love to travel even more. Well, our next guest, well, he fits both descriptions. Welcome, David Kliman of the Kliman Group, world traveler. How are you?
Very well. Great to be with you, David.
So you've had a long and illustrious career in hospitality. Take our viewers through that history.
So the quick story there is I'm the kid that grew up reading the National Geographic cover to cover voraciously, looking at those ads thinking, I want to do that.
And where was that?
In outside New York.
Yeah.
And in Westchester County, New York. And I had a grandmother that was a voracious traveler that used to bring back her airline tickets and boarding passes and give them to me, the around-the-world boarding passes from airline tickets, handwritten in the 1960s. I've kept them to this day. There's a story there. But so I got fascinated by travel at a young age. And I was lucky enough when I graduated high school to do the typical sort of summer abroad, having worked all through high school. And
the grand tour.
The grand tour with a backpack and youth hostels. And I came home almost 3 years later.
Yeah. So what do you think is the biggest misconception about, well, I think a lot of people think travel has to be expensive, and you can do it expensive, but...
Yeah, you can certainly do it expensively, but you can do it certainly moderately in certain areas. I mean, certainly there's places in Asia and Africa that you can go to this day, and certainly around the United States if you're willing to live simply and eat simply. And I started my career doing just that on this sort of walkabout that I went on.
Now, the Kliman Group is a consultancy in all things
Correct.
travel, but I know you spent some time working at the Plaza Hotel. You were on the White House Travel Council, is that correct?
I was, yeah. I started my career at the Plaza Hotel right out of school and got very lucky. Less than a year after I got there, I ended up being international sales manager and spent more than 5 years traveling around the world on behalf of the Plaza.
Bad
Literally,
job.
Terrible job, yeah, miserable. 25 weeks of the year staying in five-star hotels, flying first class all over the world. 24, 25, 26 years old, dream come true.
Right. Well, that brings me back to that first point. People think travel has to be expensive. What would you say to someone who says, you know, I would like to realize that trip that I saw on the pages of National Geographic, but it must be too expensive.
You know,
how do you get past travel fear?
I think with the shared economy, it's completely changed because people now, even in an expensive city like San Francisco or New York, where now you can go and through the shared economy, through Airbnb or VRBO, you can find either a couch to sleep on, a room to rent, an apartment to rent, much more moderately than staying in a five-star hotel. And I'm here to say five-star hotels are great, but they are not for everyone, and I'm just as comfortable staying simply as well as staying grandly. But to your point, you do not need to spend huge amounts of money to have that wonderful travel experience.
Now, we met on the deck of a ship.
We did.
Which, of course, is one of my favorite ways to travel. Let's talk specifically about the cruise industry. I mean, recently there's been some bad press about the industry. I mean, that horrible massacre with the tourists. What would you say to a first-time cruiser, either gay or straight? Because as we said, we were joking in the green room, you know, I'm not a gay travel guru. I'm a travel guru who happens to be gay.
Right.
Is there a difference when you're advising your gay clients versus your non-gay clients on how to pick a cruise?
I would say know yourself and know what you like. If you want to be in a party environment and have things going on nonstop, straight, gay, or whatever you are, then find that, and that exists on a cruise. If you want something quieter, more sedate, that exists as well. But I'm a big believer in cruising because I think you get to experience a part of the planet in a very different way at sea level.
Well, you know, I mean, I've always said whether it's a 50-passenger ship that I've been on that crossed the Atlantic or a 5,000-passenger celebrity cruise ship, the feel of the deck on the ocean.
It's magic.
It really does. I believe it's because we're 70% water, and we connect with something kind of
I agree with you completely.
innate.
There's something magical about being on the water, especially, I'm a big believer in crossings. I've sailed a couple of times across the Atlantic. I love that. I have a goal. I want to sail from here to Hong Kong and do that from San Francisco to Hong Kong. Crossing, to me, is very magical.
Yeah, my husband and I just returned from a 4-month sabbatical, which started with a 2-week crossing to Auckland with just one stop in Honolulu, and all our friends
on a beautiful ship,
Crystal
I might
Symphony.
add.
I have to admit, I'm a little biased. I worked on border around the world in the 90s. But people say, isn't that boring, being on the water? We had 10 sea days. Heaven.
Love it.
Heaven.
Heaven.
What do you say to someone who thinks, well, I'm going to get seasick, or it's just too much water? I mean...
You know, with the modern ships now, pick a modern ship that's got great stabilizers, and you can also do inland passages, the Alaska Passage. The Caribbean waters are generally quite calm. Don't go transatlantic or trans-Pacific on your first trip if you think that you're susceptible to being seasick, like our hero Hercules Poirot. But, you know, there's ways you can mitigate that, and certainly the modern ships do that well.
Now, of course, we live in a very different period as far as the LGBT community than when you started your business. When I came out, I never thought that I'd be traveling as an openly gay lecturer with my husband aboard ship. But there are still some differences. Are there things that gay passengers or gay travelers need to look at before they book that flight to a certain country still, even in 2015?
Well, I mean, there's certainly, I would say, some nations where you'd want to be very careful, where gay travelers would not want to go. Uganda, Russia right now, Saudi Arabia, places like that, that I would say are not good places to be out and about and proud, and I would avoid them. For me, I recently turned down a project in Moscow because I thought, this is not appropriate. I'm an out, proud man. I do not want to be in that political situation. On the other hand, there are hundreds and hundreds of destinations and more than 100 countries, I think, where you can go and be out and proud and comfortable. And, you know, you don't have to come to San Francisco or New York or New Orleans to get, or Sydney, and get that mythical gay experience. You can go to lots and lots of places. My husband and I were in a small town in Canada where we had the most welcoming type of experience. Now, Canada is a great gay welcoming country, one of the first to have gay marriage, but there are many places. I was recently in Poland.
A very Catholic country.
A very Catholic country. I was there at the end of January, beginning of February, and I was by myself. I was working as part. I was speaking at a conference and lecturing at the university in Warsaw, and I didn't have a particularly gay experience, but there were certainly gay people around and gay people at the conference and at the university, and it was clear that there was a vibrant gay community in a very Catholic, conservative country like Poland.
Yes,
so
well,
go
I mean,
figure.
you know, educated in a Benedictine school, I've always heard that 60% of the clergy was gay. That's just anecdotal. I don't know.
And you're just back from Italy. I'm sure you saw some.
Yeah, we saw a busload of gay cardinals. I tell you, it was really kind of funny. But that's a whole other story for another show. In our last few minutes, talk to me, though, about 2015.
Yeah.
Where are good places to go, one, that you think would be fun for gay or non-gay tourists, but where's the dollar strong? Where's a good place to really get your bang out of that travel buck this year?
I mean, so, I think a new place that's on the horizon in my mind is Gran Canaria, which is a new for me as a gay destination, but I have recently learned the vibrancy of Gran Canaria as a now almost mythical gay destination that is rivaling Mykonos.
Yeah.
I think Fort Lauderdale is a fantastic gay destination.
So right in our backyard, you can't overlook the good old USA.
And you cannot overlook the great USA. San Francisco, I think if you are not from here, we are spoiled living and being here. But if you are watching this show and thinking, I've never been to San Francisco and I'm gay, come to San Francisco. And at whatever level you want. If you want the great hotel experience, it's here. But you can come and through the shared economy, find places to stay, get outside the city. Sonoma, my hometown, Gay Wine Weekend in Sonoma, where hundreds of men and women come come and they're out in the vineyard is a marvelous experience and good value for money. But certainly with the strong dollar going overseas, and I appreciate not everybody wants to get on an airplane and cross the ocean, but certainly the dollar is strong overseas.
Right. Now, your group, the Kliman Group, what is its core competency? Who's your main client?
Our clients are destination marketing organizations. People used to call them convention and visitors bureaus, hotel companies that want to understand the voice of their customer. Primarily their meeting and convention customer is one of our sweet spots. And we facilitate think tanks, customer advisory boards, to help our customers, the destination marketing organizations and hotel companies, understand trends of their meeting and convention customers through these think tanks.
All right, so what are some of the trends right now in the travel industry for your client base?
Use of technology certainly is first and foremost, as every one of us has multiple devices in our pockets. Any traveler, gay or straight, wants unfettered, seamless access to technology, and at a basic level, the basic streaming level that we get in a Starbucks or a hotel lobby.
And they want it wherever they go.
And they want it for free wherever they go all the time with one logon. The shared economy, it's now I think the third time I've referenced it, is really having an
So you've
impact.
done Airbnb or something similar?
I have, yeah. I'm not a huge Airbnb person, but I have great respect for it, and it's changed the field of travel. It is a positive disruption in my mind, and I know hoteliers might argue that, but it's here to stay, and we have to embrace it.
Great. Going to give you the last word. Any advice for a gay or a lesbian or transgender, bisexual couple this summer? Where would you go? A spot that maybe they hadn't thought of to travel?
That they haven't thought of to travel?
Yeah. Like you mentioned Grand Canary. Some place that you'd think, that'd be good for a gay vacation.
Long haul, I'll give you them.
Yeah.
Grand Canaries, Cape Town,
South Africa.
Bali, Indonesia.
Gorgeous.
Short haul, Sonoma, California / San Francisco, Vancouver, and Whistler.
There you go. You've had the advice from the mouth of experts, David Kliman, on travel. Thanks for being